What's up, people? I didn't make a video last week after the preseason game against the Chargers. I just never got around to it, and then I was spending the weekend out, and I didn't want to make the video on my phone, so I just decided I'd do it when I had the opportunity to. And to be perfectly honest, I didn't watch most of the game because I was doing other things, and at that time I just wasn't all that interested in watching the backups and the backups. So I just kind of, tuned in every now and then to check how things were going, and I poked around a little bit on NFL.com, and I went out to check the TV every now and then, and I tried to stream it, but the stream sucked, so I couldn't use that. So I was just like, I've seen what I need to see. So basically my thoughts are going to be pretty simple because I didn't watch that much of it, and I don't really care about the preseason anymore. It's fun for the first couple minutes because it feels good to see everybody get out there, but if you're like me and you've been watching this sport for closing in on 20 years, you just want to see games that matter. I'm like a veteran player at this point, where the players, they don't really like the preseason, so they fake injuries so they don't have to play. I'm kind of like that. I just want to get to the games that matter, but anyway, we did win 31-10. Obviously, that doesn't mean anything at all. So if you look at the results of the actual game, a couple thoughts come to mind. The first units, actually, in my opinion, didn't look all that spectacular, but they only played 2 drives each. I think it was 2 drives, so I'm not going to put any real meaning into that. But when San Diego had the ball, I thought they got a couple of nice drives going, even though they only scored the 1 field goal. I thought they were moving the ball, but as the backups kind of came in, we showed that we have great depth on this team all around. We have 2 backup quarterbacks who played pretty well, so that was going to be kind of interesting to me to look at the backup quarterback situation, because I don't know who the number 2 is going to be, and I don't know who the number 3 is going to be. Tavares played great, Brady Quinn played fine, but most backup quarterbacks in preseason play really well because they're playing against players at their skill level. I would like to see Tavares Jackson be the backup because his play style is similar to Russell Wilson's in some ways, or at least he can do some of the things that Russell Wilson does that Brady Quinn can't. To some degree, he's not Russell Wilson at all, but he could have been in a different lifetime, basically. So I kind of think that'll happen, and he played real well. I thought he would. He's an overqualified third stringer, in my opinion, and I'd like to see him bump up to second string, and maybe we don't even have Brady Quinn on the roster come the season. Other than that, Jermaine Kearse, I saw he had 1 drop on a potential big play. Can't have that, obviously, but he made some plays out there. He got a touchdown, and I'm really hoping he makes the roster. I think he will, because Percy Harvin's out for a while, and I want him to make the team just because he's a Washington Husky. He went to this school the same couple of years I went to this school, so I hope he makes the team. He made some plays. But the offense we saw out there, the first unit, was not even really the first unit. Sidney Rice didn't play. I don't think Zach Miller played. I don't want those guys playing. They, they just need to get ready for week 1 against Carolina, and everything's good. Beyond that, defensively, I don't have too much to say because a lot of the things I saw were obviously from players who won't play that much, but I love the pass rush. I love these backup guys we haven't heard of that much, getting good pass rushing pressure on quarterbacks. There were a couple times where I thought we almost killed Charlie Whitehurst. Injured him, I thought, at one point, but he came right back. And you can see, with the way the defense plays, you see that whole philosophy of wanting to get the ball away. We had a couple of interceptions from players who don't play all that much typically. Backup players, not the main guys. And I like to see that stuff because it speaks to the organizational mindset of wanting to, as a defense, they have the ball, we want to take it. That's when turnovers are such a big thing, they can completely turn the tide of a game. That's what you like to see. I know, for instance, I know when Wade Phillips was in Dallas and he was their defensive guru, he always said, I don't really care about turnovers. I just want to stop them and force them to punt. But, if you don't have a defense that forces turnovers, you're at such a disadvantage compared to everyone else. So I like to see that philosophy of forcing a lot of turnovers continue, and that's always exciting. I feel like we see that in most preseason games we played over the last few years, though, and that's one reason why the game got out of hand later on. We scored some points off of turnovers. Other than that, I think it's looking pretty good. It's going to be a couple weeks before we get before we could get something from the preseason. I mean, I will say that preseason games obviously don't count, but you want to see your offense play well at some point, your starting offense, even if it's just for a single drive, even if it's just for, a 5-play drive where you score a touchdown. So hopefully that moment comes in the next few games. We've got 3 games where the starters go out there and they just get a great drive going, because I think they went 4 and out and 3 and out in the first quarter on Thursday. And yeah, don't have too much to say about it. I don't even know if I'm going to make videos after the other preseason games, because I'm really having a hard time getting up for anything like that. But there you go. So see you guys later. And I think it's Denver or Oakland coming up this weekend.